11 will now come to order. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Principal Tim, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, Council is grateful to have Bishop Hezekiah Martin of Southfield Missionary Baptist Church to pray with us. We were able to celebrate him yesterday for his 20th pastoral anniversary serving Southfield and our community. Pastor, welcome to Council.
Good evening, President Harden. Good evening to all councilmen and councilwomen. Let us go before God and pray. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High God shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight that you allowed us to be able to assemble together in the midst of trials and tribulations. You've been good. In the midst of going through valleys and mountains, you've been good. And even though our world is in a place of uncertainty, tonight we place all our cares in your hands, because things may be out of our control, but they're still in God's hands. And so, God, we're thankful that through it all that you've been so good. But we pray for these council women and council men that you'll continue to protect them from hurt, harm, and danger, that you will give them the wisdom and guidance to lead our city to great places of destiny and healing. God, in you is love, and in God, in you is peace. So tonight, in the time of war, we ask, God, that you'll be a God of peace, and that you'll continue to cover our troops and those who are serving overseas to protect us from hurt, harm, and danger. But we give you the praise, because last night wasn't our last night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bishop. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barossa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorrance, Green, Remy, Ross, White, President Harden. Any person who takes any action to obstruct or interfere with the conduct of tonight's meeting may be charged with disturbing a lawful meeting pursuant to Columbus City Code 2317.12. Any person who enters those areas of City Council chambers reserved for city officials or invited guests may be charged with criminal trespass pursuant to Columbus City Code 2311.21.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barossa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorrance, Green, Remy, Ross, White, President Harden.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. This week's communications received by the City Clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the City Bulletin. Are there any other communications to be read into the record?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will go around the dais for announcements and resolutions by my colleagues, starting with Councilmember Bankston. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Barossa de Padilla.
Thank you, Council President. I do have one announcement. First, I would like to officially say Happy Women's History Month and a belated Happy International Women's Day. Since 1995, through the efforts of historians, activists, and women's organizations across the country, and through presidential proclamation, March has been designated as a time to honor, acknowledge, and study women's accomplishments throughout history. The Women's Caucus is excited to celebrate and honor women in our community throughout the month. On Thursday, March 26th at 6 p.m., my office will be hosting our 4th annual A Woman's Work, an event dedicated to highlighting the stories, achievements, and impact of women in Columbus. This year, we'll focus on entrepreneurs in our community, women are and have been the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs throughout the country. At the event, you will hear stories from entrepreneurs, have an opportunity to network, listen about resources for turning your side hustle into your main hustle, and shop local women-owned businesses. It'll be the very best girls' night out. So tell a friend, bring a friend. Space is limited, tickets are free, open to all. We currently have 150 RSVPs, so please, please, please get those RSVPs in. I hope to see you there as we celebrate and uplift women and the incredible women in our community. And as I say, with all of these months, women's history, Black history, Latino heritage happens every day, but this is the month that for 30 days we ask people to join the party. So happy Women's History Month to everyone, and I hope to see you on the 26th.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Deakar.
Thank you, Council President. Well, my Women's History Month event will be on March 19th at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. This is our second annual Saluting Women Who Serve. It is an opportunity for us to celebrate our female veterans. And this year, we're very excited about our guest speaker. It is Dr. Catherine Sullivan, U.S. Navy veteran, former astronaut, and past president CEO of COSI. So she will be sharing her experiences as a veteran and an astronaut. There will also be a Q&A time. So come on down. It's at the Memorial Museum, 5 p.m. The doors open for refreshments and networking. The program begins at 5:30. So we hope to see you there. The event is free, but you do need to get a ticket, which is available at the National Veterans Memorial Museum website. That's all for me.
Thank you, Councilmember. Press Pro Tem. Councilmember Green.
Yes, thank you so much, Council President. Tonight I do have one resolution for presentation this evening. It's Resolution 0052X-2026 to recognize Emily R. as the 2026 Youth of the Year of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Ohio. And while I read this resolution, I'd like to invite Emily and Dr. Jermaine Kennedy, Chief Advocacy Officer from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Ohio, to the podium as I speak. Tonight we are so incredibly excited to recognize the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Ohio Youth of the Year, a program that celebrates and honors the leadership, character, and resilience of our young people right here in Central Ohio. They have been running this program for decades and have helped young people grow up into confident leaders and engaged members of our community. And so this recognition really is a reminder of the ways in which when we support our young people, we're not just having an impact today, we're having a lasting impact that's going to strengthen the future of our entire city. Emily, we all just want to congratulate you on being selected as Youth of the Year here. And so we're absolutely thrilled for you to be here with us tonight, and would love to welcome you to share a few words that I know were part of your application process and getting you here today, and tell us what brought you here.
I just want to start off by thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today. It's such it's a really big moment for me. I've never done anything like this. I've never really accomplished anything like this. So, it's very nerve-wracking, very, very nervous. The reason I wanted to do this, I'm going to be honest, was for the money. And throughout my application process, we had to do essays, and, we had to describe, our relationship with the club and, what mattered to us. And in the process of me doing that, I kind of lost thought of the money, and it soon became a reason for me to, just speak. I never really realized that I really wanted to speak. I really wanted to make sure my people are heard. Based off everything that's going on around, it feels like we're being belittled. So this gave me a reason to speak. When I was younger, color was simple. Blue is just the sky, yellow meant happiness, Purple was just another crayon in the box. Back then, color didn't decide how people were treated. It didn't come with expectations or limitations, nor did it determine who felt safe, seen, or who belonged. But growing up showed me that color doesn't always remain innocent. My name is Emily Ramirez. I'm 17 years old, proud to represent the Boys and Girls Club of Central Ohio. I joined the Boys and Girls Club as a quiet, nervous, and anxious freshman, terrified of not being able to fit in. I was silently battling depression and always had this feeling that I had to figure everything out on my own. I carried more than just a backpack. I carried self-doubt, responsibility, and the constant pressure to be strong, even when I didn't feel strong at all. Joining the Boys and Girls Club was scary at first, but staff members like Ms. T and Mr. Zay didn't try to change me. They didn't ask me to be louder or stronger than what I was, nor did they judge me. They simply showed up. They checked in on me and listened to me, making the club a place where I feel like I could grow. For the first time, I felt safe enough to be myself and safe enough to breathe. As I grew more confident, I became more aware of the world around me. As a Hispanic girl attending a predominantly Black school, I began to see how color could shape opportunity. I saw injustice, racism, and fear play out in real life, not just on the news. Watching families torn apart because of immigration issues had shown me how many people are forced to stay silent simply because they don't have the resources to speak up. That's why I want to become an immigration lawyer. I want to be a voice for people who don't have one. I want to stand in rooms where people like me are often missing and make sure we're seen and heard. I want to turn my pain into purpose. Becoming Keystone President was one of my proudest moments, not because of the title, but because it showed me what opportunity can do. I went from being the quiet freshman to someone younger kids could look up to. Color may not be simple anymore, but it shouldn't have to divide us. It should be a reminder of how powerful our voices can be when we're given the chance to use them. Youth of the Year is more than just a title to me. It showed me what opportunity can do when we're given the chance, support, and platform. I'm taking this opportunity not just to share my story, but to show others that their stories matter too. Thank you.
Just wait there for one moment so that we can present these resolutions. I don't know, Dr. Kennedy, if you wanted to say anything while I dry my eyes over here, but we would welcome you to.
Yes. So good evening, Council. So just thank you, President Council Harding. Thank you, Councilwoman Green, as well as thank you, Councilwoman Dayakawa, for all of your support and for this resolution. On behalf of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Ohio, we're incredibly grateful for your support and for taking the time to honor Emily today. This recognition is not just about one young person. It represents the potential that exists in every young person in our city when they have access to opportunity, mentorship, and a place that believes in them. So thank you for standing with our young people. Thank you for your continued partnership, and we look forward to more partnership in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for being here today. Emily, I have full confidence that this is just the beginning of the way that you are going to be changing the world, whether it is as an immigration attorney or someday sitting up here in a seat like this. Your voice matters. We have definitely heard it tonight. And there's just something so powerful about the way that young people have the opportunity to lead. And I think sometimes, if every decision we made, if every dollar we spent, if every policy we wrote was just funneled through the lens of, is this taking care of our kids somehow? Is this taking care of our families? Is this taking care of our aging neighbors? If every decision we made was just rooted in that core mission, I think we would live in a much better world. And so just so endlessly grateful to you and then Dr. Kennedy for all the work that you do, both at the Boys and Girls Club and now I know on the Columbus City Schools Board, for helping to shape and guide our young people and to develop into their full potential and beyond. And so before I move to pass this resolution, would any of my colleagues like to make any comments? Yes, Councilmember Rosa de Padilla.
I mean, you're not going to bring a young Latina leader on Women's History Month, and I'm just going to sit here. I know. Emily, congratulations. I hope that you continue to use your voice. This is your house, Mama. This is your house. And this is a place where you can come to always advocate, to make your voice heard. We come from very similar backgrounds. And when I was your age, I couldn't have imagined that I would be sitting here. But, I deeply believe that our kids need to see us to be us, right? And so you are acting like a role model. You are a role model right now for even younger Latinas who see you. It doesn't matter the thing that inspired you, that set you on your journey. It just matters that you're on that journey and on that path now. And so it's so important at a time like this for us to use our voices, because it's the most powerful thing that we have. It is the most powerful thing that we have. And it is always but for the people that change happens. And so you can see 9 of us are here, but there's so many more people out there that are advocating for the things that our communities need. And especially when it's young people, it just adds more power. It adds more fuel to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And so I just want to say congratulations. I can't wait to see what you will do next. You are just getting started. You are just getting started, and I'm honored to see you get started. And if there's ever a way that we can be helpful, know that you have 9 people that are standing beside you, behind you, helping you in your next. So don't leave that offer on the table. Come back. Come back and cash that chip in when you need to. So thank you and felicidades.
Emily, one more comment. First of all, I'm very proud of you as well, and I think there are 2 lawyers up here that would love to host you if you want to come and shadow. If you would like more opportunities to connect with more attorneys, I think that's where we put our village to work, and we don't just put it on you, but we say that we are here and we are open. I would love if you would just reach out. My aide is here somewhere. It doesn't matter. You can reach out to me directly. Reach out to me directly. Be glad to have you. Take you over to the city attorney's office. I know Mel would be glad to take you around the courthouse and do some other things that give you some hands-on experience. We sure could use you right now. But in the interim, whatever you need from a preparation perspective, know that we are here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Emily.
No, I just want to say that I appreciate, all the kind words of affirmation, and encouragement. It's really helpful.
I want to, so it was the coolest experience that I've had all year, for sure, to be able to judge this competition. And Emily's amazing. She is a senior at Columbus Afrocentric. She is going to be a Columbus Promise Scholar. She is then going on to OU. And we said like she won a scholarship, a $10,000 scholarship is what Emily won last week. And so we are so proud of you. And this doesn't take away at all from Emily, but when I tell you it was one of the hardest decisions that we've had to make, because all 10 of the young people are just amazing. And I spent 6 hours there meeting these young people, and it was heavy, truthfully, because these young people are carrying a lot. They're carrying a lot, and they're leading in real ways, but they also are just thriving and shining, and we should put all of our hopes in them. One young lady, Director Bashadi, wants to be a firefighter. She's a senior, and she is trying to get into the cadet and academy. And just one young lady, and this is where it got really emotional, is thriving at school, but going to school from a homeless shelter from Van Buren. Living in Van Buren, going to school, and yet thriving still in those circumstances. And so, being Youth of the Year, Emily, you represent the very best of us. You represent so much, and so you make us so proud. Continue to do so, and we will continue to be right behind you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, seeing no further comments and questions from my colleagues, again, we just want to congratulate you and let you know that we are literally, we mean it when we say it, we are all behind you to support you no matter what you want to do next in whatever ways we can. So without further ado, I move to adopt Resolution 0052X-2026 to recognize Emily R. as the 2026 Youth of the Year of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Ohio.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Remy.
Thank you very much, Council President. This week, we're announcing the save the date for the 5th annual Cleaner Columbus Citywide Cleanup. This is an initiative that we have started several years ago in our city to pick up litter and make this as litter-free and as beautiful as possible. Last year, we had over 400 folks sign up to help clean all corners of our city. So help us on May 9th at Wolf Park to reach our goal of 500 signups. More information will be available on our council page and council social media in the coming weeks. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ross.
Yeah, just one announcement this evening. I announced at the last meeting that we were kicking off community working hours. We had a really good time at Fimergy, had some folks show up to do remote work with us. We are getting ready to have our first listening session in District 7 on the Near East Side on Tuesday, March the 17th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., where I'll be hosting part 1 of my first listening session at Ground and Grind, focusing on the Near East Side. Listening sessions allow me the opportunity to hear from our community and inform our work moving forward. RSVPs for this discussion can be made through Instagram and also sent to my office at M as in mom, D as in dog, Wiley at columbus.gov. And then on Friday, March 20th, we'll have our second community working hours from 12:30 to 2:30 at Bottoms Up Cafe. Please stay tuned. You can visit social media and any of our communication outlets for further updates. Thank you.
Councilmember White.
Thank you, Council President. One quick announcement. This Wednesday, March 11th, Council President and I are hosting an informational hearing to discuss the environmental, economic, and community impacts of data centers. The hearing will begin at 5:30 p.m. and will take place here in Council Chambers. If you are interested in providing testimony at the hearing, please reach out to my aide, Chelsea Goldsman, at CLGOLTERMAN at columbus.gov by noon tomorrow, March 10th, and specify if you will be in person or providing written testimony with a copy of your remarks. The hearing will be streamed live on the City of Columbus's YouTube channel as well as the Columbus City Council Facebook page. So looking forward to having some really great discussion. We have a number of really great industry experts to provide information on the impacts of data centers, and really looking for an opportunity for us to learn and engage from them as we look forward to future policy decisions. So that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. It's my honor to, it's very rare that Council has superheroes in our midst, and today we do. I want to invite Coach Mike Bell of East High School to come forward. I know we have Principal Watson, Dr. Watson, who is here as well, and the coaching team at East. We all know the important role that coaches play in community. They show up, they're parents, they are mentors, they are first responders, they see things, they lean in. What Coach Bell did, though, week before last, in literally saving the life of one of his players, one of his students, has to be recognized in the community. I spent the day with Dr. Chapman, and we talked for about a half an hour about what you did. You didn't show up to a shooting after it happened and support it. It was still going on, and you jumped out of your car and ran towards it. After your student was shot and he laid there, you put your hand on his wound and held it there until the EMS got there. Would not take your hand off when the police got there. You kept your hand on his stomach to keep him safe. You and your teammates did your school chant to keep him awake and keep him focused on surviving. You stepped in the middle between the shooter and him. You did all of this. You are a superhero. You are our city's superhero. And so we wanted to make sure that at council, we continue to tell this story of you going above and beyond and literally saving the lives of our young people. You do it every day in other ways, but on that day, you did it in a very, very literal and specific way. So on behalf of a grateful council, but on behalf of a grateful city, on behalf of grateful parents, we say thank you for what you have done and what you are doing in our community. Before I pass it on to Coach Bell, does any of my colleagues have say anything? Councilmember.
Well, Coach, good to see you. Wish it was on better circumstances. We want to say, echo everything that the council president said, and to say thank you. And I think what some folks don't even know in that context is that you were able to step in that moment because, unfortunately, the one that caused the harm was also a former student. And I think that shows that even in that type of moment, what you have built in this community and with those students goes further than just respect, goes further than just a title. It is trust and a deep relationship that you have built with both of them. And it could have been much worse if someone else had stepped in. But thank God that you were there. And just want to say thank you for not only what you do on the field, but I think what you do in the community as well. It extends far beyond just the players, as our principal knows. That's a pride that runs through that building that then trickles into that community. And we're in a moment now where our young folks need to see that, feel heard, feel seen, and feel valued. And so I just want to thank you, but also highlight, I think, the moment that we find ourselves in, that those are two young people that got into this situation. And I think it shows the fragile mental health state that our young people are in. And it's professionals like yourselves that aren't seemingly the day-to-day task of education, the day-to-day task of the weightlifting program and getting ready for the game. That's the easy part. The hard part is showing up for these young people, knowing that there are circumstances like them living in Van Buren, or circumstances of them going to homes that don't reflect what we are instilling in them at the places that they come to be safe. And so my hat is off to you and to the entire team over at East High School and to every other educator around here that is stepping in the gap. It matters. So today, don't take it lightly, but I appreciate you and appreciate, as a fellow Tiger, how Tiger Nation stands up for each other. And we will continue to do that. So congratulations, and just appreciative to have folks like you on the front lines. I think too often when we think about our schools, particularly Columbus City schools and inner city schools, folks want to highlight the negatives. And folks may even seemingly see this as a negative, but I think that this is a positive because it shows that our students have some of the best individuals and human beings rooting for them, supporting them, protecting them, and preparing them for the future. And you represent, sir, the best of all of us and the best of your profession. So thank you again to our principal, to our athletic director for supporting you, because without you, we don't know what the situation could have been. So again, congratulations on this honor, but again, more importantly, thank you for what you did for our community.
Appreciate that.
Coach Bell.
Well, first off, I just, giving God all the praise, man, for allowing me to even be in that situation. It's a tragic situation, like he said, for both families involved. It's two families impacted tremendously on both sides, two families that I have relationships with. So, you know, to be in that situation, to be there, to be able to help, you know, the young gentleman, you know, and that the victim that was involved in it, is a blessing for me to just to be there. I just think that we have a lot more work to do. You know, as good as and as wonderful as y'all make me sound, there's still work to be done. We're not where we need to be. And, you know, I think, honestly, you know, I've been preaching resilience, developing resilience in our youth since I started the Daystars probably back in 2000. And it's more even relevant now after the epidemic, after the things that people went through, is that these kids learn characteristics of being resilient, what it takes and what does it look like. And what does it look like? So, you know, we putting that, you know, that was one of the things I told him, you know, like, you're resilient, you know, think positive and keep fighting and see things through. So, you know, I think if we, like I mentioned to you earlier, I think if we change the perception, then we can change some of the behaviors. I just feel like we need to start, you know, instilling what that looks like and changing the way they perceive things, because if it's real to them, it's going to be real to them. If this is my reality that I'm living in, and it's up to us to change the reality that they see and kind of change their perception, and we just need to make sure that we are putting our resources towards that and developing it young, you know, in that neighborhood. Like I said, the pride. I played Little League for Mount Vernon. I grew up right there with Trevis, so it was full circle for me to be back as a head coach, coming from the neighborhood that I came from, that taught me. And, you know, we just want to keep continuing to pour in that neighborhood and every other neighborhood around Columbus where our youth are, and putting it, getting the right people in on the front line and the right people in there making a difference. And I appreciate your time. You know, Doc can tell you I've been trying to duck interviews and stuff like that, but that's just who I am. And I think anybody would have reacted the same way, because we're protectors. You know, we're always going to be protectors. We're protectors in our family. I was raised that way. My grandma, my uncles, everybody taught me to protect and love, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So, you know, I just thank you for the honor. And like I said, giving God the praise to be here, to represent East in a light, you know, just to share, you know, out of those, you know, we had 17, 18 kids with a 3.0 or higher out of 24 on my football team. So we worked on some mental stuff in the summer just because I thought they needed to have that. Wasn't a program, it was just something we needed to do, mental wellness check-ins with our kids. At 3 o'clock, we're meeting, what's up, how your day going? You know, and so I think those things need to happen daily with our kids before we can even get them to understand how important education is. They have to see and understand why, and why this will help, and why this would get me in a better position. So I think, like I said, my grandson came up to me, and my grandson was out there with me, and he said, Papa, how you gonna leave me out the story? I was right there with you. You know, you all on TV. And I said, man, I don't want to be on TV, but understanding, he was like, he said, Papa, I'm not where I need to be on the basketball team yet. I said, well, you're not doing enough. Do more. If you're not where you want to be, do more. Do more. It's not enough. So we got to keep doing more, and we got to keep doing more and more and more, and keep doing more and more. That's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Coach Bell. And to that point,
My team here, principal, I don't want to get beat up when I go back. And my athletic director, Anthony Brown, and I really got a great administrative team. So thank you, Bell.
thank you so much. And the truth is that we owe you more than just this recognition and this resolution. We owe you continued partnership and investment and support. And we will be there, and we will do that. And you have this council's word that we will be engaged in that way. So thank you so much. Thank you, AD, and thank you, Principal Watson, Dr. Watson. Well, if that's it, then I move to adopt. Is there a second? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Councilmember Banks said he seconded that. Next, I want to bring up, and I've known about this program for several years, but yesterday when we were at Southfield, I got to go down and tour the closet or the space that this program is inhabiting. And so I want to bring up Bishop Martin and Ms. Marlene Drayton to speak on Dress to Dream, which is a giveaway program for prom dresses for students here in Columbus. And it's a huge program. It's almost coming up. They're still collecting donations, but they're also inviting young women to come be a part of it. And so I wanted to make sure that we did our part to help tell this story and get the word out. So welcome back to council.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marlene Drayton, and I am the founder of Dress to Dream. It is a nonprofit that provides free prom attire to all high school students. This year, we are blessed with having over 700 dresses. So we just need the help to actually get the word out because we want to help as many students as possible.
Good evening again. We are committed to helping as many kids as possible. Last year, there was a young lady who, unfortunately, she had got pregnant, and she said, "There's no way I can go to prom." And some kind of way they got in contact with us through the church. She came to worship. She shouted, "Councilman Bankston." Next thing you know, Marlene took her in the back with the baby to get a prom dress. The tears were flowing down her face because she said there was no way I could have been able to afford going to prom had you all not donated and given us a free dress. But not only were the dresses, but also makeup was provided, shoes was provided, and so we are committed to making that one night one of the best nights of their lives.
Yeah.
And if we can use that one night to change their
That's
life,
it.
then we are committed to be able to do that through Dress to Dream through the Southfield Community Baptist Church.
Now, Pastor and Mr. Arlene, how do folks find out about this? How do we get the word out to them?
So you can RSVP on our webpage. It's dress, ED, the number 2, dream.com, or you can call the church as well.
Okay.
And also, these are brand new dresses,
Yes.
and it's free.
Yeah.
They just have to just come and just pick out the dress and have several sizes. I didn't realize there was a difference between homecoming dresses and prom dresses. I learned.
There's a big difference between
There's a big difference.
There's a
Yes,
big
there is.
difference. As a mom of 2 high school girls, I know there's a big difference. Do they need it to bring anything when they come? They can just show up, no questions asked?
No, yep.
Great.
Doesn't matter, social, economical background, and no background checks, financial status. We just want to help them.
Okay.
So we're just committed to just being a family that cares.
So we have the dresses, the shoes, and the purses as well. And then the day of the event, we do a raffle where we pick 5 girls and we sponsor their looks, so their makeup, hair.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, council will also do some social media on this. We do want to get the word out. That's such a huge resource in a time when so many folks are struggling right now. And to take that concern away from a parent and a person, it's huge. Thank you for doing this work.
Absolutely.
Before you leave, can you let us know how you take donations? Do you take checks? What does that look like?
You can find all of that on our website. So the Dress to Dream.
Dress to Dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pastor.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can clap for that. That's a good one. Are there any comments from the city attorney's office or treasurer's office? No? Are there any requests by members of council for the removal of an ordinance or resolution by the from the consent portion of the agenda? Hearing none, may we now have a motion to waive reading of titles of third-day legislation? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross White, President Harden.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will the clerk now read into the record the ordinance number of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda?
Finance and Governance Committee, we have ordinances 564 and 565-2026. Economic Development and Small and Minority Business Committee, we have ordinance 586-2026. Public Service and Transportation Committee, we have ordinance 561-2026. Neighborhoods, Recreation and Parks Committee, ordinance 393-2026. Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, ordinances 497 and 584-2026. In Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinances 524, 545, 547, and 552-2026. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, ordinances 437, 463, 514, 595, and 597-2026. On Rules and Policy Committee, we have ordinance 583-2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have a speaker on? Oh, that's first reading. The following ordinances appear on our agenda as consent actions. Will the clerk now read those into the record?
Resolutions of Expression 54X and 55X-2026. In Finance and Governance Committee, we have ordinances 316, 465, 589, and 590-2026. In Economic Development and Small and Minority Business Committee, we have ordinance 551-2026. Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, ordinances 396 and 502-2026. Workforce, Education, and Labor Committee, ordinance 390-2026. Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, we have ordinances 2097-2025 and ordinances 489 and 556 and 598-2026. Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, ordinance 477-2026. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinances 434, 498, 529, and 544-2026. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, we have ordinance 278 and 354, 509, 588-2026. Rules and Policy Committee, we have appointments A25, A26, A27, A28, A29, A30, A31, A33, A34, A35, A37, and A38-2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have one speaker on the consent portion of the agenda. Jordan Fillmore is here to speak on ordinance 0434. Jordan, welcome to council.
Good evening, Council President Harden, Chair Ross, and other members of the council. My name is Jordan Fillmore, and I'm the CFO for the Refuge. And I'm here today grateful to submit testimony in support of the amendments for funding that would go towards the funding of a construction of a clinical services building that will directly serve the residents of the Refuge. The Refuge is a faith-based long-term recovery program based in the Hilltop area, and it's been in operation for 26 years. The amendments under consideration will go a long way in aiding our efforts to provide the best care we can for those that we serve. Currently, we rent space from a local church that we're partnered with. It's where we provide those services, and we are grateful for that space, but we do not own it. It is limited in the space that it provides, and it does not entirely fit our needs. We've been working with a contractor to design a single-story building that would provide us with enough office space and meeting space to meet our current needs with also possible expansion in the future. Securing this funding would ensure that we are able to construct this building and it would better suit the needs of our organization and our residents. The Refuge has outstanding outcomes, but more importantly, we have proven impact. In 2021, we conducted our first impact and value report by a professional and independent third-party evaluator. And we are currently in contract with Ohio University to conduct our second impact report, which I'd be happy to share with you all once we have those results. Using data from alumni that graduated during the 3-year period of 2018 to 2020, as well as secondary data regarding community costs of addiction. This report highlighted the positive impact that the refuge has on those who graduate and the social return of investment, which was a rate of 188%. In real dollar terms, this equated to the refuge helping save the community and taxpayers over $2.5 million. While you may not know me, I'm hopeful that my testimony speaks to how much I believe in the refuge and the work that we're doing. At this time, 9 years ago, I myself found myself in a long battle of opioid and methamphetamine addiction. I came to the refuge seeking a hot meal and a warm bed, and yet I found so much more. When I completed the program in 2019, I accepted an entry-level administrative position, and in 7 years since that time, I've married the love of my life, welcomed 2 beautiful children into the world, and I now am promoted to overseeing the financial operations of this organization. That is the impact of the refuge. And while the refuge has changed over the years in how we approach recovery and constantly seeking to best treat holistically a person, our core values remain the same of unconditional love, safety, intentionality, and God at work. We respectfully ask that you support these amendments. Thank you for your time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. It's just so cool when we can hear the impact of a piece of legislation on consent, but just understand that it's having that kind of impact. And so just thank you for the work that you're doing. We really appreciate the refuge and the partnership. Chair, do you have anything else?
Hi, Jordan. I just want to say we're so grateful for the work that you do in the community. I know you serve residents from everywhere, but especially your presence on Columbus's west side. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the refuge, which I used to not believe in faith-based treatment and recovery programs, and it's my own bias. I think it's like, sort of how the recovery community used to not believe in medication-assisted treatment, right? Mm-hmm. And I have learned so much from partnering with the refuge through your programs and the ways that, we're really looking at whole people, right? And it's not just about healing, the individual person. It's about healing family relationships. It's about healing your connection to community. And that, I think, is one of the most beautiful things about what the refuge does, is the focus that that you have also built on service and of being a part of something bigger than all of us, which is what religion teaches, but it's also really the way that you live and exist in our communities and give back so much. And so we are grateful for you and for the work that you have done on your journey and continue to do to give back to so many other people. I will obviously be, grateful to be supporting this this initiative.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Are there any other questions or comment concerns with the consent portion of the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Alcala Dorrance.
By voice.
I'm sorry, that's right. You're correct. Thank you. Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Alcala Dorrance, Green.
Yes, with the exception of Ordinance 0588-2026, from which I abstain.
Remy. Yes. Ross. White. Yes. President Harden.
Yes, consent portion of the agenda passes. We'll now proceed with the second reading of 30-day postponed emergency legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Finance and Governance Committee, chaired by Councilman Bangston. Councilman Flores first.
Thank you, President Harden. First up tonight in the Finance and Governance Committee for second read, we have Ordinance 0086-2026 to establish a new authorized strength ordinance for various divisions in the city of Columbus to be consistent with the adopted 2026 budget, to repeal Ordinance 1283-2025 and to declare an emergency. This ordinance is pretty straightforward. Ordinance that we do at the top of each year. This ordinance establishes authorized strength levels for city departments in alignment with the 2026 operating budget. Authorized strength represents the maximum number of personnel that city departments are authorized to maintain. Changes to authorized strength are necessary to adjust staffing levels in accordance with budgetary appropriations. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I first move to amend as submitted to the clerk.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Thank you, and now I move for passage as amended.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0318-2026 to authorize the Director of Department of Finance and Management to establish various purchase orders and associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with previously established universal term contract for fuel and fueling services on behalf of the Fleet Management Division per the terms and conditions of various previously established universal term contracts, to authorize the expenditure of $2 million from the Fleet Management Operating Fund and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes the establishment of purchase orders with Wex Bank for purchase of vehicle fuels and fueling services. For the 2026 budget, the Fleet Management Division is budgeted a total of $9 million for unleaded and diesel fuels and fueling services across different vendors. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0587-2026 to authorize the Director of Department of Finance and Management to enter into contract with Greater Columbus Arts Council, Inc. for the purpose of distributing 2026 admission tax proceeds to providing funding for grants to artists and arts organizations that serve as the foundation for the city's profile as a vibrant, inclusive city, to authorize the appropriation and expenditure of proceeds from the Creation, Innovation, and Inclusion Fund, anticipated to be $11,050,000, and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes this year's disbursement of the anticipated proceeds for the non-arena admissions tax for the Greater Columbus Arts Council. These funds support grants to local artists and arts organizations. And with us tonight in chamber, we do have our new president and CEO, Mitch Menchaca, who is here with us. I'm going to ask him to come at this time to provide some remarks. And just a clarification for this, for folks, this is an estimate. So as proceeds come in monthly, those are distributed by our auditor to GCAC. And with that, Mitch, welcome to Columbus and welcome to council. I'll turn the floor over to you.
Well, thank you and good evening, Councilmember Bangston, Council President Harden, and members of council. As mentioned, I'm Mitch Menchaca, the new president and CEO of the Greater Columbus Arts Council. The arts heal, inspire, and bring joy to residents and visitors. They strengthen our economy, help our young people succeed, create a sense of place, instill neighborhood pride, and help with social and civic issues facing our communities. GCAC is grateful to the Columbus City Council for your continued support and investment in the arts in our community. Public investment for the cultural sector is crucial, and I thank you not only for today's vote on the admissions tax, a user fee to help sustain the sector, but for last month's vote on the allocation of the hotel motel tax, which adds to the quality of life for our residents without a burden to their pocketbook. Funding to GCAC and to the arts and cultural sector drives a thriving art scene which motivates people to visit, move here, 97 days here in Columbus, and stay in Central Ohio. Funding provides access and education programs to more than 1.2 million Franklin County kids and families each year, and generates about $13 return for every dollar of public investment that supports our workforce here in Columbus in the cultural sector. Because of our partnership with the City of Columbus, we've supported 111 nonprofit arts and cultural organizations, funded nearly 1,300 artists with grants and awards, and hosted nearly 4 dozen capacity building workshops that reached 2,000 artists and cultural workers last year. But it's not just about the numbers. It's the impact the arts have on people. Like this past weekend, the Contemporary Theater's opening of Jaja's African Hair Braiding, where I saw the community come together to celebrate the relevance of seeing themselves on stage and bringing to light important issues facing our community, like immigration and cultural democracy. I also had the opportunity to talk with onlookers as I filmed Public Art Tour with our artist Adam Hernandez on the streets of Columbus on the importance and the need for art and creating a sense of place for community. We are committed to the fundamental principles that the arts should be accessible to all. As we begin 2026, we acknowledge the many challenges that are facing our city and nation, and we strive to demonstrate how the arts make us more resilient, drive positive change and economic success, and bring unity. Thank you again. We are grateful to the Columbus City Council, Mayor Ginther, our other funders, the Ohio Arts Council, the Ohio State University, our board members, individuals, and community partners who help us build that thriving community through arts and culture. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mitch, for all the work that you've done in these 97 days and all the work ahead. I can tell you, I know I've had a chance to sit with you and hear your vision and see your background and experience. So really excited about what you're going to bring to Columbus and to our arts community. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? I know you have 2 board members up here, so. Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. But again, I do just want to underscore those numbers that you hit on, right? $13 return for every dollar that's invested. And that's why things like this are so critical to our community. When we talk about economic development, I know sometimes it feels like this nebulous thing, but it is how we generate more income so we can do more things like investing back in our community. So we have to continue to do both in this moment, and I think that you all are doing that. And I think I want to underscore to folks out there that when you go and buy, I know there's this thing about junk fees out there. This is not a junk fee. This is a fee that goes right back into investing in our community. It's a way for us to invest in the art ecosystem as well as us as a community. So continue to go out there and purchase your tickets. Hopefully you get them before the pre-sale and not on the resale market like me. Thank you again, Mitch.
Thank you.
With that, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorrance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Next, we have Ordinance 0591-2026 to authorize the Director of the Department of Finance and Management to enter into contract with the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority for the purpose of distributing 2026 admission tax proceeds for the Facility Stabilization Fund for the purpose of infrastructure investment in Nationwide Arena, to authorize the appropriation and expenditure of an estimated $3,475,000 from the Facility Stabilization Fund and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes this year's disbursement of the anticipated arena admissions tax proceeds for the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority, and these funds will support ongoing maintenance of the arena. So similar to the last ordinance, this one is just specific to Nationwide Arena because that formula is a little different. Some of those proceeds go back to fund ongoing maintenance at the arena. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorrance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. And lastly, we have Ordinance 0731-2026 to amend Ordinance 2938-2025 to establish appropriations within the Cannabis Host Community Special Revenue Fund to transfer appropriations between the Department of Neighborhoods, Recreation and Parks, and the Office of Education and Violence Prevention to transfer cash within subfunds of the general fund and to declare an emergency. This ordinance can be described as Part 2 to the finalizing of the council amendments we approved last week, as well as making a minor correction to the available budgetary resources estimated by the auditor. This ordinance does all of the following. First, it amends ordinance number 2938-2025 to align with the auditor's full year general fund revenue estimate. It transfers $850,000 in appropriations within Recreation and Parks between object classes in order to insource a portion of summer youth programming. It also establishes $6.3 million in appropriations within the Adult Use Cannabis Excise Tax Fund to support the 2026 Elevate Grants Program. It also transfers appropriations from neighborhoods, the Office of Violence and Prevention, and Education to the Recreation and Parks Department to administer summer youth programming, and also consolidates cash within subfunds of the general fund. We do have one speaker on this ordinance before I move for passage, so this time I'm going to call Mr. Nate Wilkins. And Mr. Wilkins is speaking in favor of ordinance 0731-2026. Mr. Wilkins, welcome back to council. And you have 3 minutes.
1612 Arlington Avenue, Mr. Lothan George Wilkins. First of all, let me just say this money that y'all got for the summer youth. What I don't see is I needed some history here, and going way back from 2005. The recreation of knowledge here, since we have all this development, young kids and things, I just want to know how come there's not any summer jobs where people can go to work and make an honest living, you know, or either some type of trade skill or a construction skill or labor skills, working on houses and things and stuff like this. And so I believe, to my knowledge here, that you're going to have more money, and we got to start thinking outside the box here. You know, when we talk about summer youth, is that just dealing with summer youth programs, or is that not dealing with jobs, construction jobs, some type of jobs where they can make an honest living to help their families? When you have all this violence, people don't have jobs to go to, or some type of skilled trade in this community. You know, we see all this, and we want to know how people can get access, bringing jobs for these young folks out here. You know, if it's not nothing, an 8 hour or 2 to 3 hours on a work site, you know, people can educate their mind by occupying, doing something with their hands, or instead of picking up guns or in the street just fighting, or lollygagging in the street. That's what my mother always called it. And so again, I would love to see a track record. Where's this money going? How is it being used? Is it just for the summer months? Why that this money can't be used 12 months out of the year, doing different entities and things? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. And we'll make sure that someone gets with you. Oh, actually, Councilmember Diakar.
I've got good news for you, Mr. Wilkins. It includes workforce development and jobs. Thank you, Councilmember Bankston, for your work on this appropriation. Because of the budget cuts, our summer programs, our job programs took a big hit. We were not going to be able to provide the same level of programming we had done in the past. And so I advocated over several months with the administration that a small portion of the money that was going to be line item for summer youth for nonprofits, that a small amount be given to our Recreation and Parks Department to make it whole. $850,000 we determined would enable us to bring our programming back to the 2025 levels. Our Recreation and Parks Department provides quality program, and it's fiscally responsible. Our price per participant is significantly lower than that of other organizations. It's a great way to use our taxpayer money to make sure that our department is made whole before giving money to other organizations to fill gaps. We should not create gaps in our own programming. And with this funding, we are now going to be able to fully fund a full summer pool season. So your kids can go to the pool and cool off this whole summer. It wasn't going to be that way, but now with this funding, we can. Our various summer camp programs, our camps within our recreation centers will now be able to be fully staffed so we can offer the robust programming that we did the prior year. And our job readiness program, we were going to have to cut 100 positions from that, but now we'll be able to have the same number. We're looking to fill 350 summer positions with our youth. It's not just sending them to a job, but they also get a lot of wraparound programming on that for workforce development and all those other skills that you need to be a functioning worker. And so it's really exciting that we receive this. Thank you, Director Long, for your help on this, and Councilmember Bankston. We're really excited that we will be able to provide full funding in our centers and our various parks and whatnot so that our kids get the programming that they need, and our taxpayer money will be used in a fiscally responsible way. So, thank you.
Thank you for bailing me out there, Councilmember Deacon. I know that you know the Recreation and Parks Department better than any of us. And so I think, and as you pointed out there, just want to reiterate that there have been historic levels of investment in our young people through the last couple budget cycles that the administration has put before us. And I think we see those dividends when we look at the lowest homicide rate in our city since 2007. We see violent crime rates continuing to trend downward. All of that works together, both because of the great work of our men and women over in the Columbus Division of Police and what, under the direction of our chief, are doing, but also because of these investments that we're making in our youth during the summer to make sure that they have something productive to do and that there are folks investing in them. So again, wanted to point that out and thank you again for your leadership, Councilmember Deacon. Before I move for passage, any other questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Alcor, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have in my committees this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee come before Council, the Public Service and Transportation Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Barosa de Padilla. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. And I believe that we had a miscommunication with a speaker from last week. So if I could start before.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So Sunny Fan, welcome to Council. You have 3 minutes if you could introduce yourself and any organizations that you represent.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sunny. I go to Ohio State. I'm an Ohio State student, so that's the organization I'm representing. And I do have something to say. All right. Hundreds of Ohio State students walk across the crosswalks of North High Street every day. These crosswalks are poorly lit, and they pose as a public safety threat for my fellow peers. I'm not here today to argue the dangers that crosswalks possess, because I know that everyone in this room understands how dangerous they can be. Otherwise, we would not tell our children to look both ways. I'm here today to represent my fellow OSU students and demand that we install more precautionary signs and warning lights on our most populated crosswalks so that our drivers can see our children walk across our streets. There is a crosswalk that intersects East Frambies Avenue and North High Street, like many of the other crosswalks on High Street. This road only has 2 crosswalk signs on the left and on the right side of the road. Now, although this may pass regulation, these crosswalk signs are so old that they are not illuminated correctly in the snow, in the rain, and not in the dark. Only the best and most undistracted drivers will be able to make a full stop before these crosswalks. And as we know, that is certainly not the case in Columbus, Ohio, and especially not on High Street. I love playing video games, shout out to Fortnite, Minecraft, but I do not enjoy playing Crossy Road in real life on my way to class. In 2025 alone, 14 of my fellow peers have been struck by a moving vehicle within 1 mile of The Ohio State University. Although those numbers are not fatal, would it really cost a fatal number for action to be taken? My peers, they're smart and they have a bright future ahead of them. The people that walk across these streets, they're our future doctors, our future leaders, and most importantly, they're future mothers and fathers. We must do our best to protect our future. Installing warning lights on our most populated crosswalks would cost $50,000. That is less than 1% of the City of Columbus's annual budget. Now, I know I have the privilege of speaking to parents and future parents of our children today. Would it really cost the life of your son and daughter for $50,000 to be justified? We need lights, and we need them now. I'm more than happy to work with the city to escalate the situation. Because in today's world, my fellow peers, my friends, we should not need to walk across another crosswalk fearing for our lives. Thank you.
Can I, Sunny?
Yeah.
Can I call you Sunny?
Yeah.
So this is the best timing because on Friday, we actually met with a group of your peers from OSU to talk about this exact issue. And so two things. First, we have your phone number, so I'm going to have my staff reach out to you to connect you with the folks that we met with from OSU because essentially right now we are working on both a street resurfacing, but then also looking at all of those crosswalks along the North High Street corridor. So that includes not just resurfacing projects. We've also done an evaluation of the crosswalks where we will be repainting some of them. There's some other adjustments that we need to make, but exactly what you were talking about was the conversation that we had. Deputy Director Borntreger, who's right here from our Department of Public Service, was also in that meeting along with myself. We had one of our data analysts from the Department of Public Service, two of our engineers, one of them that works with OSU because OSU is unique in that we work with engineers that actually specifically focus on campus since it is a unique area of the city that's within the city. And so there is more to come on some of the improvements that we're making there. Deputy Director Borntreger, do you want to add to that?
Every time. Councilmember Brosadeh Padilla, thank you for calling on me. We did meet last Friday where we laid out some of the short-term and then medium-term solutions. We're very excited about it. Some of that work gets done at any point on the notice to proceed on the resurfacing, which will then allow us to update a lot of those markings at shark bite, kind of like the shark teeth that's around that helps provide people to see them and all sorts of other signage improvements. We also have written work orders to immediately take a look at some of those areas where we can update some of the faded lines and those type of things. So medium term, we are working with the university on a longer term plan to take a look at the entire corridor that is part of the higher entry network for our Vision Zero initiative and is the densest area of the city by far. And so it is on our radar. We're more than happy to brief you on those as well. But we recognize the same thing. Safety is our number one priority at the department. We have over 3,000 crosswalks within the city, and so we do invest in those high entry networks, which is High Street along the Ohio State University area. Absolutely.
And so we're happy to, like I said, we'll follow up and then I can connect you with the group of OSU students that we had the meeting with because they took a ton of notes that they were going to take back to the group that essentially they had come together to talk to us about this same area. And then also we're happy to share other updates of what we have going along the corridor.
Okay, thank you. Can I add something?
Please, yeah.
So I'm a fourth year at Ohio State. So I've been at this college. I've been walking across the same crosswalks for like 4 years, but like nothing has been done. So I just hope that we can work together to escalate the situation so it can be
Absolutely. And we recognize, especially some of the crosswalks that we were talking about, that's exactly where we have some of our scooter corrals. That's where Uber pickups are for games. That's where we recognize that there's improvements that need to come. And again, for some of the longer term solutions, that's what we're working with the university on, is that parts of that area are owned by the university, parts of it are the responsibility of the city of Columbus. So it's really about us coming together to make those general improvements all along that corridor. And that's part of what we're working on. So more to come. Thank you so much for coming. Are you from Columbus?
No, I'm from Cleveland.
Are you staying in Columbus?
Yes.
Yay! Well, I'm glad you're staying in Columbus. Thank you for choosing us and thank you for coming down here because I think it's really important that, OSU can feel like its own city and there's an entire city that surrounds it. And so having folks that can come down and ensure that they're, advocating for the things that they want, especially when you're going to make this your home, is really important. So thank you for coming down here today.
Thank you guys.
Okay, Council President, I have 3 items in public service and transportation today. The first is 0431-2026 to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget to authorize the transfer of funds within the Recreation and Parks voted bond fund to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into contract with Kokosing Construction Company Incorporated for the resurfacing 2025 project to authorize the expenditure of up to $8,074,235 from the Streets and Highways Bond Fund and the Recreation Parks voted bond fund for the project, and to declare an emergency. This project authorizes the resurfacing of 36 city streets and the creation of 88 curb ramps along those streets. So, Deputy Director, I'm going to go back to you for just a second. Street resurfacing is something that everyone is highly interested in, especially right now. I know y'all have heard me talk about potholes, but for real now, I'm crossing my fingers now that we've had all this good sunny weather that we are uncovering those streets that really took a beating because of the way that we treated not just both the treatments of the roadways, but also because of the snow that eats away and corrodes our roadways. So please use 311. But Deputy Director, can you let folks know where they can find out if their street is part of this package of the 36?
Yes, President Hardin, Chair Barosa de Padilla, and other members of council. This legislation recommends the resurfacing contract for a package of 36 streets citywide be awarded to Kokosing Construction. Before any discussions about the city's resurfacing program, the Department of Public Service wants to extend our heartfelt sympathy to Kokosing, the family and co-workers of Jordan Thomas, their employee who was struck and killed by a hit-skip driver in a construction work zone on I-70 near State Route 315 on February 28th. This is a senseless and devastating loss and is completely preventable when drivers slow down, pay close attention, and don't drive distracted or impaired. Along with our partners at ODOT, Public Service emphasizes and prioritizes the safety of crews and contractors who work in roadway construction zones. Drivers must do the same. Lives are irreplaceable. Kokosing is working with Central Ohio Crime Stoppers to identify the suspected vehicle and driver. If anyone has any information about the crash, please contact Crime Stoppers at 614-461-TIPS or at stopcrime.org. And please slow down in work zones this summer as our crews get started. To find out more about this particular resurfacing package and all the other packages that are currently getting ready to launch, you can go to columbus.gov and simply search resurfacing. That'll bring you to that entire page. If passed tonight, that new information will be up tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Deputy Director, and thank you for sharing that. I think, as we continue to work on our built environment, in order for us to make our streets safer, that means people work on those streets. And so that's why it's critically important that as folks are driving, that they're watching their speeds, that they are focused on the roads. And so I think, many times we have advocates that ask us to add those preventative measures to circumvent human error. But there's certainly things that all of us can do to ensure that we're locked in when we're driving to make sure that folks are staying safe, especially the folks who are making our streets safer for everyone. So thank you for that. And then also, I want to just thank folks for their patience as we are getting to the repairs on our roadways, especially now. Usually it's a 48 to 72 hour window when you do call 311. Please make sure to call those because we know that those potholes can be detrimental to folks, both for the safety of potential accidents, but then certainly that one pop tire can, be detrimental to a family or to a person. I want to ensure also before I move for passage for this, I did state the incorrect number. So I want to correct myself. It's $8,074,002.35. Do my colleagues have additional questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Weiss, President Harden.
passed.
Thank you. Next, I have ordinance 0487-2026 to authorize the Finance and Management Director to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance and to establish purchase orders and contracts with multiple vendors for the purchase of various traffic management and control commodities for the Department of Public Service, to authorize the expenditure of $100,000 or more in a fiscal year against universal term contracts, to authorize the expenditure of up to $1,900,000 from the Street Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund for the purchase of various traffic management and control commodities, to authorize the expenditure of up to $300,000 from the Municipal Motor Vehicle Tax Fund for the purchase of various traffic management and control commodities, to waive the competing bidding provisions of the Columbus City Code, Chapter 329, with respect to the usage of certain cooperative purchasing contracts for the purpose of purchasing various traffic management and control commodities, and to declare an emergency. This authorizes the purchase of a variety of traffic management and control commodities such as pave marking materials, sign manufacturing materials, school flashers, traffic signal commodities utilized by the Department of Public Service. These supplies and materials are necessary to ensure traffic safety throughout the city of Columbus. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. And lastly, we have ordinance 0572-2026 to authorize the city attorney to file complaints in order to immediately appropriate and accept the remaining fee simple and lesser real estate necessary to timely complete the 4th Street Signals Phase 1 project, to authorize the expenditure of $910 and to declare an emergency. The project consists of the replacement of traffic signals at the intersections of North 4th Street with 1st Avenue, 2nd Avenue, 5th Avenue, 7th Avenue, and 17th Avenue. This will include traffic signal improvements and other improvements such as sidewalks, curb ramps, street lighting, traffic control, and maintenance of traffic. The city must acquire a certain fee simple title and lesser real estate located in the vicinity of North 4th Street in order for DPS to timely complete the public project. The city's acquisition of the real estate will help make, improve, or repair certain portions of the public right-of-way of North 4th Street, which will be open to the public without charge. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. That's all for me this evening, Council President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If it's all right, we'll just get a motion to recess for zoning. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
We are recess. We'll begin zoning in 5 minutes. Call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. We'll now go to the zoning committee. Councilmember Dorance, Chair, Second Committee, all members serve. When Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Harden. As always, before we get into tonight's zoning agenda, I'll explain our rules pertaining to speaking for council on rezonings or variances. We only hear a staff presentation for ordinance that have a disapproval from a recommending body, or if you have a public speaker signed up to speak against an ordinance. We permit 3 speakers on each side, 3 proponents, 3 opponents. We ask those speakers to limit their remarks to 3 minutes for the standard rules of City Council. All speakers in the council variance, including city staff, area commissioners, applicants, members of the public, will be sworn in before they give testimony. Representatives of an area commission are always able to speak in an ordinance and do not need to fill out a speaker slip, but we do ask you alert city staff of your intention to speak at this committee hearing. This evening, we do not have any public speakers signed up to speak on our agenda. On the advice of the City Attorney's Office, we'll now swear in the city staff. Please stand and raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, that you should answer under pain of penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do. Thank you. Please let the record reflect the list of saltsmen from the Department of Building and Zoning Services that have been sworn in. First, we have ordinance number 0537-2026 to rezone 1854 Stelter Road, being 18.60 plus acres located on the east side of Stelter Road at the terminus of City Gate Drive, LAR1 Limited Department Residential, and R Rural District to LAR1 Limited Department Residential District. Site consists of 5 undeveloped parcels, 1 undeveloped parcel recently annexed in the City of Columbus. 5 of the 6 parcels were recently rezoned back in September 2025, allowing 264 dwelling units on 14 acres. The applicant recently acquired a 6th parcel to allow a maximum of 384 dwelling units on 18 acres. Developed in accordance with the submitted site plan and building elevations. Proposal represents an expansion of the already approved multi-unit residential development. A current council variance will be considered next on our agenda. Proposal is approved from City Staff, Development Commission, and the Northeast Area Commission. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, White, President Harden.
Pass.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 0538-2026 to grant a variance provisions of section 3312.27 parking setback line, 3333.18 building lines of the Columbus City Codes for property located at 1854 Stelter Road to allow reduced development standards in the apartment complex in LAR1 Limited Department Residential District. Again, this is the concurrent variance for the rezoning we just considered for an apartment complex of up to 384 units. A requested council variance will allow reduced parking and building setback lines in the intended apartment complex. Proposed variances to allow site design encourages the preservation of mature trees, pedestrian connectivity, use of sidewalks and paths to connect open spaces, and the use of natural features as an organizing element in the development plan. Proposal approved from City Staff and the Northeast Area Commission. I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Next, move to adopt the findings of staff, the Finance Council.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Finally, move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. And finally, we have ordinance 0562-2026 to grant a variance provisions section 3332.033 R2 residential district of the Columbus City Codes for property located at 2734 Fairwood Avenue to allow manufacturing home in the R2 residential district. Site consists of 1 undeveloped parcel. A council variance is required because the current zoning district only allows single dwellings as a primary residential use, while the applicant proposes to construct a manufactured home on the property. The property has approvals, or the proposal has approvals from city staff and the Far South Area Commission. I first move to accept the entire staff report into evidence as an exhibit.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Move to adopt the findings of staff, the findings of council.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Finally, move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you, Council President. That's all we have.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilman Remy. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Council President. Tonight I have two ordinances on for public safety and criminal justice. The first is 446, 2026, to authorize the city auditor to appropriate unappropriated funds from the G34-2000 in the amount of $661,724 and transfer $1,421,000. I'm having some troubles tonight. $1,421,087.55 from the General Government Grant Fund Project G34-2000 to the general fund and to declare an emergency. This ordinance appropriates funds from the cash on hand and transfers all remaining funds from the Franklin County Public Health CDC Overdose Data to Action REACT Grant Project to the general fund. Emergency legislation is necessary to complete the appropriation and transfer required to finalize grant closeout. Enacting this legislation on an emergency basis will allow the grant closeout to be finalized and the general fund to be reimbursed. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Next, at 447, 2026, to authorize and direct the city auditor to transfer $1,518,445 within various projects of the Safety Voted Bond Fund to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Codes, Chapter 329, to authorize the Finance and Management Director to enter into a contract with and issue purchase orders to Farber Specialty Vehicles for the purchase of an explosive ordnance disposal emergency response vehicle, to authorize the expenditure of $1,518,445 from the Safety Voted Bond Fund and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes the purchase of a new explosive ordnance disposal emergency response vehicle for the Division of Fire Bomb Squad, replacing the current EOD vehicle, which is nearly 20 years old. The new vehicle will serve 33 Ohio counties and support EOD emergency response at multiple special events. The request requires a bid waiver because the Division of Fire reached out to 3 vendors and only Farber Specialty Vehicles responded with a quote. The 2 other vendors declined in this build. Emergency action is necessary due to extended build times for custom fire apparatus. Immediate encumbrance of funds upon passage of this ordinance is required to ensure production can begin without delay. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you, Council President. That is all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, chaired by Councilman Ross. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. We have just one ordinance on second read, 0534-2026, to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into a subaward not-for-profit service contract with Equitas Health Incorporated in an amount up to $1,054,650 to authorize the expenditure in an amount up to $1,054,650 utilizing the 2023, 2024, and 2025 housing opportunities for people with AIDS, HOPWA, entitlement grants from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to authorize the payment of eligible expenditures prior to the issue of the purchase order beginning January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, and to declare an emergency. This piece of legislation is packaged along with 2 other pieces of legislation for which we passed on consent, totaling over $2.6 million to support the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS program, which improves access to housing and other supportive services for HIV-positive individuals and their families. HOPWA funds nonprofit organizations to assist with meeting the housing and supportive service needs of low and moderate income persons with AIDS or HIV-related diseases. The program provides tenant-based rental assistance as well as short-term rent, mortgage, and utility assistance to HIV-positive individuals and families to ensure stability and safe, decent, affordable, and sanitary housing. If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I will move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
That is all.
Next committee to come before council is the Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Weiss. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. As always, we're doing the heavy lifting in public utilities and sustainability with 6 ordinances. First, I have Ordinance 172-2026 to authorize the Director of the Department of Finance and Management to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreements for the purchase of parts, materials, supplies, and services for the Division of Water Reclamation, Southerly Water Reclamation Plant, and to authorize the expenditure of $3,205,500 from the Sanitary Sewer Operating Fund. These purchase contracts are used to monitor, maintain, and repair equipment throughout the Southerly Water Reclamation Plant. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, I have 391-2026 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a service contract with Sonegro Central LLC for the Hapkrami Water Plant Residuals Removal Lagoon 2 project, and to authorize the expenditure of up to $2,905,749 from the Water Operating Fund. This project involves the removal of residual material and grit from the Hapkrami Lagoon Number 2, as well as other necessary lagoon vegetation maintenance. This work will restore storage capacity needed for emergency situations, extend the useful life of the lagoon, and enable proper maintenance to be performed on relevant equipment. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Next, I have Ordinance 422-2026 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a construction contract with BLD Services LLC for the 2025 annual lining contract project, to authorize an amendment to the 2025 capital improvement budget, to appropriate funds within the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, to authorize a transfer of cash and appropriation between projects within the Sanitary Bond Fund, to make this ordinance contingent upon the Ohio Water Development Authority approving a loan for this project, and to authorize an expenditure of up to $11,111,848.45 from the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund and the Sanitary Bond Fund to pay for the project. This project consists of the rehabilitation and repair of aging sanitary sewers that are prone to leaks and unexpected failures. This work will mitigate drainage issues and reduce sewer overflows into waterways and basements. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Next, I have Ordinance 429-2026 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a contract modification for professional engineering services for the Home Road Water Plant with Hazen and Sawyer to appropriate funds within the Water Supply Revolving Loan Account Fund to make this ordinance contingent upon the Ohio Water Development Authority approving a loan for this project, and to authorize the expenditure of up to $57,500,000 from the Water Supply Revolving Loan Account Fund. This ordinance supports the construction of the Home Road Water Plant, which will serve as the city's fourth water plant facility. The Home Road Water Plant will improve the reliability and resiliency of our water supply system. Deputy Director, can you just discuss some of the work that has been done during previous modifications and what is anticipated for this modification?
Certainly. Thank you, President Harden, Chairman Weiss, and members of council. Hazen Sawyer has been with us from the beginning with detailed design of this project. We are now moving into construction. Phase 1 of construction has already started with site work at the site. And last week, we actually advertised for bids the construction of the plant, the $1.6 billion estimate. The authorization tonight will allow us to continue on with contracting with Hazen on services during construction. Hazen will be doing our inspection, cost control, scheduling, monitoring the schedule, and a host of other activities, including shop drawing review and approval. These activities are needed to protect our $1.6 billion investment. And construction should begin in the fourth quarter of this year and should last 60 to 72 months. I can take any questions.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Next, I have ordinance 441-2026 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a contract modification with Evans, McWort, Hambleton, and Tilton Incorporated for the Construction Administration Construction Inspection Services 2023-2025 contract, to authorize an amendment to the 2025 capital improvement budget, to authorize the appropriation of funds in the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, to make this ordinance contingent upon the approval of a loan from the Ohio Water Development Authority, and to expend up to $1,483,646.04 from the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund. This ordinance supports the procurement of construction administration and inspection services for the 2025 annual lining contract project, which rehabilitates aging sanitary sewers throughout the city. These services will ensure that the project remains on track and adheres to expectations. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. And last, I have ordinance 471-2026 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Utilities to modify the contract with RCC Global LLC for the Customer Information Systems and Integrated Systems Upgrade Project, and to authorize the expenditure of $5,945,675.50 split between the electricity, water, sanitary sewer, and storm operating funds. This ordinance will enable Columbus Water and Power to integrate the entire Oracle Customer Cloud Service solution into their operations. The integration of this software will reduce system complexity, improve data and billing accuracy, and enable Columbus Water and Power to continue to serve our city's growing population. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. That is all I have from my committee this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So no further business coming before council. Is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, de Akauer, Dorance Green, Remy Ross, Vice President Harden.
Meeting is adjourned.